All right, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. For this video, I am going to do my very best to describe my Chebe routine for length retention. Now, when I say this, I'm talking about the routine that I had from the videos or the photos that I've been sharing during that 8-month span that I used it and was able to retain a decent amount of length. Now, I previously did a video of me mixing the Chebe up, or how I mix the Chebe, and it never dawned on me that people would probably want to see how it's applied or how I used it within the routine. So it just didn't come to me, and people were asking, but I'm not the best at explaining this, and I feel like I'm probably going to confuse people with the video, but I really would have sent you for a loop in the comments. So I'm going to try my best to explain what the routine looks like. Now, bear in mind, although I was very consistent with this, when it comes to a routine for me, there are things that aren't repetitive, but like the frequency at which I might do something or the way that I might do something really varies on how I feel and how my hair feels. Like, I know when people ask like, oh, how often do you wash your hair? I may say 2 weeks. 2 weeks is pretty reasonable as to when it comes to my overall routine. But sometimes it might be a week. It might just be a couple days. If my scalp is itching, or if I feel like my hair needs to be washed, I'm gonna wash it. Are they like deep condition? What do you do? Once a week. Okay, well, maybe I'll do it twice a week. Maybe I'll do it every other week. It really just depends on what I feel like my hair needs. And the needs can change, I feel like, quite frequently. So if it seems like I'm having a difficult time explaining this routine, I am. So just keep that in mind. It's a routine. I was pretty consistent with it, but I'm not used to describing things in such a detailed way where it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, because sometimes step 3 be step 1, just depending on how I'm feeling or what's going on. It may switch around, or I may do something different. So bear with me as I try and explain and give good detail as to how I used this in my hair to retain length. Also, for this video, I'm going to mainly be just talking about it. I'm going to try and piece together another video from clips that I have as to what it actually looked like for people who are visual. But if you don't like to hear people talk, then you probably don't want to listen to this. So for this routine, this Chebe routine, and what I'm discussing in particular is that 8 months where I had some success with it. The style, or my style of choice. Now, I say style very loosely because it's not like I thought I was cute walking around looking like this. This is just what I chose to use to help me stay consistent with the routine. I wore big like twist, big chunky twist, or just twist in general, because I was new to learning about my hair in its like natural state, or working with it solely by myself in its natural state and just figuring it out. So this was just the easiest for me. So they weren't the cutest, but they got the job done. Also, same photos. I don't have a lot of photos from that time. I don't take photos now either, so it's kind of difficult for me to give you something new. My hair is not out and about, so I'm going to be recycled and reusing these photos. So this is how my hair looked the majority of the time. Let's say 99.9% of the time, this is what my hair looked like. And it was just easier for me. It was easier for me to reapply it at the frequency that I was reapplying it, and just being able to wash it, or not really wash it, but like wet my hair in the shower and stuff, not all out and about. It was just easy for me. So this is my go-to style. Now, I say this also because there were people who asked like, can they do like on a wash and go? You can. I wouldn't. I'm not a wash and go girly to begin with, because I just don't like to wear my hair out in that way. If I wear my hair out, it's probably down, straighten, or maybe a braid or a twist out every now and then, but never a wash and go. I've never done a wash and go. I have too many textures in my hair. My hair's all, I don't want to call it like crazy or all over the place, but it's just not consistent throughout, so I just don't like it. But I've never done the wash and go. Now, why I wouldn't do it with the wash and go is it's kind of messy between the Chebe flaking everywhere and the oil that I use. Well, the way that I mix it up. Maybe if you don't use oil, or if you just do it differently, maybe just apply the powder and some sort of cream, then maybe it won't be as bad. But the Chebe and the oil, it'd be on your shirt, your back. I don't know if you want to have some back knee issues, you go right ahead, but it's not for me. I believe somebody also asked about like the straight hair. I would never use it on my straightened hair, or use it right when I'm about to straighten my hair. One, because I can't wash it out. Two, because I just feel like that would be terrible, honestly. It's probably gonna be so stiff. It probably won't give you the results that you want. But if you want to try it, your business, your hair, you won't hear any objections from me. Hair type, I honestly don't know. I had somebody ask me about like hair type. Can you use it on different ones? I can only speak for my hair type, and I don't even know what that is, honestly, so I can't really speak to that. I have so many different types. This is loose, this is tight, this is in between. Like, it's all different curl patterns and kinky. It's kinky one place, a little coily another place, curly in another place. It's just all over the place. So I would assume you could use it on all hair types, since I got like about 4 in my head. But I honestly do not know. I feel like the best way to figure it out is just trial and error. That's how I find out things about my hair, and that's just what has worked well for me. When it comes to like straighter hair, I probably wouldn't do it as much. At least if you use it, I probably wouldn't use it the way that I use it, just because it would definitely weigh your hair down, and I don't know. I don't think it would be a fun experience, but to each their own. I don't have straight hair, so I can't really attest to it. So when it comes to people asking me, do you leave it in or do you wash it out? I leave it in. I leave it in. Even if I were to wash my hair, it's not gonna fully come out. Probably only 20% of it will come out, and I still got about 80% of it in my head. So I leave it in. I sleep with it. I go days with it in my hair, and then I just apply more some days later. That's kind of like what it looks like for me. Now, I leave it in, but sometimes I do wash my hair, so I'm trying to explain clearly what it looks like when I would apply it again. I would apply it, it varied. So sometimes, let's say I started it on Monday, on the 3rd day, which would be Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday would be my 3rd day. I don't know about anybody else, but I would reapply it on the Thursday. I would, maybe one way that I would do it was take a water bottle and just wet my hair and then apply it to it. That way my hair was more so damp, it wasn't drenched. I feel like if your hair is drenched, the product spreads better, but it's a little bit messier. So I like to do the spray bottle sometimes. Now, when it came to, let's say later on in the week, I would probably do like a hair mask in my hair. So I would apply the mask in my hair, and then I would get in the shower and just kind of rinse it out. Just squeeze it, rinse it out, and that's what it was. I didn't necessarily shampoo my scalp or like condition. Sometimes I would put conditioner into, that would be kind of like my wash was like a co-wash, but so much of the product is still in my hair. It's not really washed out, so I don't want to say that I washed it out, because like 80% of it is still in my hair. But I just didn't like keep applying it with like a spray bottle, because I do need some sort of cleanse. It just makes me feel better. It makes my scalp feel better. Not that it bothered my scalp, but just saying I need that mentally, and then also physically, and I just need it. So I would do that as well. Occasionally I would do shampoo on my scalp. Not very often, but I would use shampoo on my scalp, and then, you know, I could wash down the strands. Sometimes if I feel like I had way too much in my hair, I would also shampoo my strands, but it's not like it really went anywhere. So that was just what it looked like when I applied it back into my hair, or like what my hair would look like before I would reapply it. Sometimes it's wet from the shower, sometimes it is from a spray bottle. And I would also do like mask in my hair. Like I mentioned, I would do a deep conditioner or some sort of like mask. I have this hibiscus one or hibiscus. I know people say hibiscus, I say hibiscus. But I would mix a little powder, a little oil, a little conditioner, and just slap that on my hair, and that was kind of like my deep treatment. Sometimes I would just do oil and I'll put it like a heated cap, and I'll get in the shower, rinse it out, and then I'll just apply some more Chebe when I get out of the shower. Now, I do believe people could wash it out if they want to. I don't know if it has the same effect, just because I feel like part of the powder being in there is what helps with the retention. Like, I don't know, it kind of adds like a little thickness to your strands so they don't break off. This isn't like something that was said, or maybe it was. If it was, I didn't hear it. This is just what I feel, what feels right to me. So that is what I would do. Yeah, that is part of it. Some other things that I did to my hair during this time, I wouldn't say it was super consistent, but I would put tea tree oil or peppermint oil on my scalp, just like the straight up essential oil. I know this is not recommended. People probably is just screaming at the screen telling me you shouldn't do that, it'll burn your scalp, blah 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 blah. I don't know about anybody else, but that burning sensation is wonderful to me. I like that feeling. I think I might have a problem. Also like abrasive like scrubs for your face, for your body. Even though my body and my face be telling me to stop, I can't help it. I like it. So I do that with the tea tree oil or the peppermint oil. I would put that on my scalp afterwards, straight up, not diluted. So not recommended. That's just what I would do. I don't say it a lot because people are like, you're supposed to dilute it. I'm like, I get it, but I ain't gone bald yet, so I take it as a sign that I'm okay. Now if you want to try it, that's your business, but I'm not suggesting that. That was something that I would do, not too frequently, but frequent enough. I would say maybe like once a month I would do it. And then also the another thing I would do was cut up an aloe vera leaf. So I would cut up an aloe vera leaf, split it in half where you see all the little jelly, and then I would cut those into cubes, put it in some foil, stick it in the fridge, and then after I wash my hair, I would just kind of like poke the little cube and then rub it on my scalp. It just felt so good. It was so cooling. Now if you did the little tea tree oil and then did that, it feels even better. So that was something that I like to do a lot, and I don't know if it was helpful, but I used to do it. I don't mention as much because I don't know if that really helped like the length retention. I feel like that just made me feel better. I don't know why I keep looking up to the side. There's literally nothing right there. Look at the camera. So yeah, I would do that a lot, and it was just something that made me feel better. When it comes to the like routine, when I say like the length retention, I feel like the Chebe was probably the most consistent thing, which is why I feel like I can attribute my length for the most part, or my length retention for the most part, to the Chebe. Something else that I would do, which I also feel like was pretty helpful, was I would add the way that I would wrap my hair. So because I have this like one little, I don't know what to call it, I'm gonna just put a photo because I don't ever know the name. I never remember the name. I haven't used it since because it used to cut off the circulation to my head and it hurt a little bit, but it used to keep my hair nice and neat as well. So I would put like a shower cap or a bag on my head. Well, first I'll put whatever this thing is on my head. Then I would put like a bag or a shower cap, and then a scarf. Now, my reasoning for doing this was because the Chebe and the oil can be a little messy and it be staining in people's clothes. It'd be like green. It's almost like I have henna in my hair, and it'd be leaving all type of stains or spots on my sheets, and I didn't like that. But the little black thing that I would put on my head, it had some dye in it that would constantly just seep through and get on all my stuff, and I didn't like that. So I would put the bag to help with the dye and the oil getting onto my bedding. And me doing that, I didn't realize I was doing like the greenhouse effect, which I feel like can be pretty decent when it comes to hair growth. I really don't know, but I'm assuming that that was also something that I did indirectly, like not knowing that this could, hey, help your hair grow. So I did that, and I did that pretty consistently. I wouldn't do it the whole way through because I did like to let my hair dry sometimes. I feel like just constantly having it wet, especially on a certain part of your scalp, would be irritating. Because something that I didn't mention was, although my hair was in twists, I would wear it in a bun. So in a bun, kind of like this, my hair would be in twists and I would put it in a bun. Now, the way I do it now is a lot neater than it was back in the day, but that was just something that I would do, and just having that one wet spot in the back of my head was not a fun time. And I think it would lead to irritation. And it was like my hair never fully dried when it was in a bun, so sometimes I would take it down, not necessarily down on me, well, sometimes. The only thing about wearing it down is your clothes get oily, your back gets oily, you get a little back knee. It's not fun. But that's just something to keep in mind, is that it was up, away, in a bun. And for the days where I felt like my hair was a little bit drier, I didn't need to have that bag and everything on my head. So I used it, but it wasn't like every single night, because at some point my hair needs to dry. So yes, that was something that was important, I believe, was the greenhouse effect. For what I started to figure out, or what I figured out more so this time around, to help with that, not soggy scalp, I feel like that's a little, I don't know, sound nasty, but to help with the scalp irritation that could potentially happen from my scalp being constantly wet, I would put my hair into 2 ponytails instead, and then piece it together in a bun. So when I would go to sleep, I would take that the one that was holding the 2 ponytails together out, so that that middle part of my scalp can kind of dry and have some relief from being constantly wet. And that has been helpful. So one thing that I probably didn't mention that I feel like I forgot to mention was the consistency, or the frequency as to how many days I would use it. For the most part, it would be every 3 days. My hair would still be wet. It would still be, it still have all the conditioner, Chebe and everything in it, and I would just reapply. Sometimes I didn't even have to use a lot of water for the spray bottle because my hair would still be wet. And I would just add on top of that. Just keep adding on top of that and just twist it up. For the most part, yeah. 3 or 5 days sometimes. It was no less than 3, and occasionally maybe more than 5, but not that frequently, like not that often, like 2-3 times max. But yes, that is all that I have for this video. Hopefully it brings some sort of clarity for people who had questions about how I used it. I will try and show how I use it a little bit better than me trying to explain it, but just know, I feel like it's best to just get a feel. Just try it, see what works for you, what don't work for you, get a feel for it. That's what I do, is trial and error. Maybe 3 days is too short for you, or maybe it's too long for you and you want to do it more frequently. It really depends on the person. Everybody's different. Everybody's routine, lifestyle is different. You have to figure out what works for you. And this is just what happens to be what worked for me at the time. Now what I do now is slightly different, but I'll probably be able to explain that in a later video. But yeah, for now, this is just what I did. This is a better explanation for anybody who wants to know. Hopefully it's a good explanation, but that is all that I have for this video. Thank you for watching.